While I was cleaning out my office the other day, I found a whole stash of unfinished projects, so I thought I would maybe take some time and work on a few of them. The first one I have here is a blanket that I found shoved into this reusable shopping bag in the corner of my office. It's an Entrelac crochet pattern, and I was using some self-striping yarn, and my intent with it was that as the yarn would change colors, it would do it in like a random pattern, so I would have this kind of patchwork look to it, which I like, but you know, I get bored with things pretty easily, so I got bored with this one halfway through and just stuck it in the corner of my room somewhere. So I was using this mosaic yarn from Bernat, the self-stripes as you knit with it. So instead of striping, the colors are kind of concentrated into each individual little block that are in this pattern here. For some reason, my cat really loves this blanket. When I laid it out to try to measure it, she keeps laying down on it. And anyway, before I finish this blanket, there's a few things I need to look at here. Now, this pattern, the way it starts out with a couple, just like two of these squares in the middle of the blanket. And then as you work, you basically work in a spiral around those two squares. And when I measured this, when I got it back out and tried to figure out how much more I needed to do to it, it measured at pretty much almost a perfect square. It was 42 inches by 43 inches. And I don't like my blankets and throws to be perfect squares. I'd rather them be rectangular shaped. So I would need to figure out how much I need to put onto this. So I think what I'm going to have to do is stop crocheting this in the pattern that it called for, where you're working in a spiral around, and basically just add on. I've ended here in my last round. I think what I'm going to need to do is just cut this yarn, weave it in, go back to the other end down here, and crochet another row, and just keep crocheting rows to add to one end of it until it gets to be the rectangular shape that I want it to be. So that's the plan for now. That's what I'm going to do. I'll try that out and we'll see how it works. So this took me several days to actually finish. I started out by just knitting the rows like I was talking about, crocheting the rows. This is a Tunisian crochet technique. Gives you a little different effect. You basically put a bunch of loops on your hook and then draw your yarn through all those loops. And I will put links here to the original pattern that I used for this this blanket, and then also some Tunisian crochet techniques as well. A quick story time. My cat, if you notice here, is drinking out of a glass. She refuses to drink out of her cat bowl, and she was actually getting really dehydrated. The only way I can find a way to get her to actually drink something is to give her a human glass. So I keep one on my coffee table for her to drink out of. So this was it after 3 days of adding rows to the bottom of it. I finally got it into the shape that I was wanting, more of a rectangular shape. But I ran into a bit of a problem with this. I was not going to have enough yarn to finish the whole thing. This is the amount of yarn that I have left, a partial ball plus one full one, and this has been discontinued by the manufacturer. So I decided I'm just going to end with this and then add a border to it. So to end this pattern off, I needed to go through and fill in the little triangular zigzag sides of it to give it a flat side. And you just do this with the same technique, you just kind of reduce each row by crocheting the last two stitches together. And it kind of makes a triangle that fills in the blank side, so you end up with a straight side to your blanket like you see here. And then I had this gray yarn, it's the same weight, just a different type of yarn, then I thought I would just add like a 2-inch border around. I was about 4 inches short around the entire perimeter of the blanket to get it the size that I wanted, so I thought I'd just put a 2-inch border on each side. That would give me my 4 extra inches on the top and bottom. And then I used steam from my iron to block it. And now I didn't touch it with the actual heat part of the iron. This is acrylic yarn, so you know it doesn't really iron well. But I used the steam portion to kind of steam it and block it out. I love the way the color's concentrated into the random blocks. And I like the effect that the border had on the side too. It kind of gives it a neat finished look. So there you go. There's the final product.